Thank you for joining today's special celebration. We are here to make sure that the different groups who contributed to D-Day landing are all recognized. So you can share this with any veteran you know. We're soon going to play the national anthem. Thank you for joining today's special celebration. We're here to make sure that the different groups contributed to D-Day. So you can share this link with any veteran or descendants of veterans you may know, and anyone that may be uh, um, able to benefit from this special D-Day 80th anniversary celebrations. We are now going to play the national anthem of the United Kingdom, and then from there we'll start our formal proceedings, marking 80 years of this unbelievable global event, recognizing every single person, every single individual, because we cannot just pick up one group over the other. We must be able to recognize all the lives that were lost, the ones that contributed to our comfort today. And so after that, we will acknowledge certain individuals and then we'll play the special national we'll have a list of all of them. We'll play the anthem. Thank you. Thank you for those joining us online. We're grateful that you're taking time out of your busy schedule to log in and be part of a very unique experience. We are pleased that now we're able to look at history and look at it holistically. So we're not just looking at a part of history, we're looking at the whole of history, so that generations unborn will know, for a matter of fact, the truth about what really happened to our heroes from West Africa, to our heroes from Asia, and any other country that contributed to the success of what we now know as the Battle of Normandy. Who were the real individuals? Because most of us have seen stories, others have heard stories. Very have been able to understand the facts of the case. And in our short symposium today, it is incumbent on all of us to tell the full story for the generations that are yet to be born, to acknowledge everyone who contributed to the day, and those ones who paid the ultimate price. We need to be able to tell the next generation this simple truth, that many more people participated in this noble cause than we once told them. So there is the forgotten. That's why it's called the forgotten. There is the forgotten truth that we, for one reason or the other, have not been able to share with different generations before now. So we have to correct this, and we have to make sure that whoever is coming next understands who really made that day come to pass. Who in terms of individuals, who in terms of countries, who were part of what is now called the Gold Coast Regiment. The West African is that Churchill summoned, persuaded to be part of this endeavor or the part of this historic victory. We must not tell in isolation what is convenient for us. We must tell the truth and then highlight the contribution, pivotal contribution by the heroes from every community, by the veterans who were forgotten. We must be able to tell the descendants who their parents were truly heroes, and the one that suffered different consequences because of this lack of information that was not made available then. So we must tell them and explain to them why their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents are valued, why they are relevant, why no matter what happens, we must recognize the noble role they played, no matter their ethnicity, no matter their country of origin, no matter the country they are domiciling. We owe it as a duty to connect with the children of these great individuals who were brave enough to be part of this alliance. So I want to call on you that are here today. Really consider it as a privilege to be part of what is now history. and then be able to move things around in saluting your ancestors, in saluting your parents that you never knew, or great-grandparents that you never interacted with, who in more than one way contributed to all that we are celebrating today. They made a great contribution, and their names have almost been forgotten. Their names are not on the roof of schools, government institutions, or barracks. They have remained anonymous. From Burma to West Africa, to Asia, June 6, 1944 would have been impossible without the contributions of these individuals. We would never have had the largest seaborne invasion of history and in history without the collaboration, commitment, and the cooperation of the citizens of the world. So when we talk about the liberation of France, it must not just start in Normandy and end in Normandy. No. It cannot just start in Europe and end in Europe. No. We must reach out to the far-flung areas of the world who made all that possible. They fought like everything depended on them. And today, history seems to be excluding these young men and women that gave all they have to not just king and country, but to the whole wide world. So we're going to hear testimonies on some of their grandchildren and great-grandchildren that would manage to identify and let them know that they are also part of the Poppy Appeal. They are part of the international group that have seen it fit to salute their parents and great-grandparents on this 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings. It is extremely important that we remember the full and diverse tapestries of heroes who turned the tide of World War II. While the images and stories most seared into our collective memory today depicts a bulk of white Americans and British soldiers charging the beaches of Normandy, the remarkable truth is this, that people of color from across the globe played an indispensable role in ensuring the success of D-Day and the ultimate Allied victory. Let's take, for example, the 320th Barrage Balloon Battalion, African-American combat units who hit the shores of Normandy on the 6th of June 1994. These brave men arrived among the waves, first wave, tasked with the crucial mission of using explosive rigged balloon to deter the German aircraft and protect the evading troops and supplies. Corporal Waverly Watson Jr., a 21-year-old medic from Philadelphia, was wounded by shrapnel. Within seconds of his landing, craft hitting the Omaha Bridge, yet he spent 30 grueling hours tending to the injured amid the carnage and saving countless lives through his courageous actions. Woodson was just one of the estimated over 2,000 Black Americans, African Americans, who took part in the D-Day invasion, while simultaneously battling the scourge of racial segregation within the U.S. military itself. Men like William Dabney, these are no household name, vividly recounted the hellish scenes they faced. Firing was furious on the beach. He said, I was picking up dead bodies and I was looking at the mines blowing up soldiers. End of quote. This heroism was indispensable, yet has been largely omitted from the historical records and popular portrayals of the D-Day over the decades. American, or what you call the African American, are not just the only people of color who made sacrifice. The British Indian Army, comprising of Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs from across the Indian subcontinent, played a vital role. Over 2.5 million Indian troops served in this great enterprise. I need everyone here to understand that number, figure 2.5 million, they not only served in the Mediterranean theaters, but they served in the main heart of Europe. So their valor and tenacity helped to weaken the German defenses and draw away resources that could otherwise have fortified Normandy. We also cannot forget other soldiers from Singapore, Malaya, and other quote-unquote former British colonies who fought and died to defeat the Axis power. The Chinese company of the Royal Army Service Corps landed in Normandy's Gold Beach, immediately coming under intense enemy fire. Their bravery and logistical support enabled the Allies to establish a foothold in France. The Pacific, because we need to be comprehensive, we've got to celebrate everybody. From the Pacific theater, the famed Asian soldiers, Americans of Japanese descent, shattered racist preconceptions with their extraordinary courage and commitment. The all-Nissan 100th Infantry Battalion became one of the most decorated units of World War II for their actions in Europe, laying the groundwork for D-Day invasion and other activities and strategic role they play. On the home front, the Japanese American women like Mary Matsusada worked in factories to arm the Allied forces while their families were unjustly interned in camps. These are just a few of the diverse multicultural faces that made the ultimate sacrifice to liberate the world from tyranny. Their overlooked stories are a sobering reminder that people of every race, every kid, every background were called to defend our values, even as institutionalized racism and discrimination persisted. On this 80th anniversary of D-Day, we must resolve to elevate these forgotten narratives and finally grant them an equal place in the histories and commemorations. We must also teach our children about heroes like Waverly Watson, the Indian sappers who cleared the path through the minefield, the Gold Coast Regiment of West Africa, the Chinese community that braved Normandy's bloody shores for their selfless courage that showed that the struggle for freedom is a shared human endeavor that transcends any artificial boundaries or constructs of race, ethnicity, or national origin. Most importantly, and finally, we must continue to strive to build a world worthy of their ultimate sacrifices. One of true equality, justice, and human dignity for all. Only by honoring these diverse D-Day heroes can we fully appreciate the diverse fabric of our modern society that their victory helped to make possible. Their stories are shared stories. They deserve to be remembered and celebrated for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the first path that we're going to tread today. And those of you that have tickets are now supposed to look at the colors of your ticket, and the ushers will walk you to your seats. The ones that are unticketed, please don't go away. I understand arrangements have been made to accommodate you in a general viewing, and you be linked to a section for overflow. So it's on this note, I want to thank you for coming. Those of you that joined online, thank you, because using the hashtag DDAY80, that means hashtag DDAY80, you will be able to follow every single event today, tomorrow, and the weekend. The celebration of this anniversary continues on all fronts. Thank you very much. And